everybody was, saying, "Oh, Luke's gonna open a brewery. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be like ah." And for me, it's just like opening a brewery in 2017. It's like it's a pretty scary thing.
It is,
So I don't take anything for granted, and I cross my finger. I tell myself Godspeed.
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead.
And I'm Scott, your cold beer enthusiast.
Welcome to episode 90 of BrewHeads podcast. And on this wonderful 30-degree day here in Toronto, we are here with Luc Lafontaine, founder and brewer at Godspeed. My friend, thank you for having us.
Hey, nice to have you guys.
Pleasure being here, man.
Pleasure to be here. This is such a dope place, man. Congrats on this one. When did you open?
I opened July 7th, 2017, so it's going to be a year soon.
Nice.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And I was jumping right into it, but are you doing any anniversary festivities?
You know what? Yeah, I'm. See all these barrels here. I was supposed to have some beers in bottles, but I've been too busy. So so there will be a few of those beers in kegs on tap only.
Nice.
Here, but apart from that, no. It's like this
low key.
Yeah. I mean, this business is built on simplicity, and so for the first one, it's just like nothing really special. Just invite friends. Hopefully, a lot of people will come and just hang out.
Good friends, good beer, hang out, have a good time. Yeah.
So you need. I love it. We have a ton of questions, but before we get into everything,
first things first.
Let's talk about this beer.
All right.
What do we have here, my friend?
So we have Otsukaresama. It's my first flagship beer. It's Dortmunder.
Okay.
German lager. I love German style beers, so actually my favorite styles of beer. So I brew a lot of them. It's funny because I brew this a little bit as a joke, because when we were in the construction time, we were drinking dab. And so my dad came to visit me one day, and he just brought me a bag of dabs from LCBO. So we just
$2 a can. Great bang for your buck.
Yeah, that was the only beer allowed in here for like 6 months. So when it was time to brew, I said, "What do we brew?" I said, "Let's brew a Dortmunder." It was a bit of a joke, but it became the flagship, and it's like everybody wants it now.
Right.
Nice.
Classic.
So
Cheers.
very clean, clean, crisp German lager.
Yeah, man, solid.
That's an all-day type thing right there.
Yeah.
What's this, like 4.5, 5?
4.8.
4.8?
Yeah.
Nice bitterness to it.
Yeah. It's a little too bitter for Dortmunder. I'm not probably never gonna send my beers to
be judged under
competition. I can play a little bit with the style.
Yeah.
So this is about 32 IBUs. Dortmunder is not supposed to be over 29.
I appreciate it though. I like it. It brings a little something more to it.
Different, right?
Yeah, a little bit of minerality too from the water. So every beer I do, I adjust the water profiles and put a lot of minerals in there. So
sick, man.
Yeah,
I love it. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna start with the history. You are a man who has been around for a long time.
Yeah,
we're not saying you're old. You've been in the beer game.
Right.
Saying you're an OG.
Extended period of time.
People call me the new kid on the block. I am right. Yeah, I like it. I've been in this industry since 2001.
Okay.
And I started home brewing in 1991. So it's been like 27 years.
So like way before it was cool.
yeah, way before internet.
Yeah, right.
So
how'd you get into home brewing then? How did that start?
It's I became like interested in at that time was not craft beer, was imported beers, and my older brother is 3 years and a half older than me, so we used to go to SAQ together, and I just naturally I just went for the Duvel beer, and and he got me a Duvel, and I cracked this at home and said, okay, this is a revelation. So it started like that, and 1991 was college, not legal yet, but my dad allowed us to brew, me and a friend, and we started home brewing, and slowly I travel around the world, seeking beer styles, and until when Dieu du Ciel opened in 1998, I saw them in Chambly Beer Festival. They were not even open yet. So I met them, and I drank their beer. They had like a Blanche de Septembre, and I just fell in love with that. And they invite me to their opening. And when I went there, and I told them one day I'm going to work for you guys. That was in 1998. So after I went to Australia. It's where I learned to speak English, actually.
And like you from Montreal?
Yeah, I'm from. I'm from Ottawa, actually, on the Quebec side, from Gatineau. So I moved to Montreal in 1993. I went to university, Université de Montréal.
So even though you grew up in Ottawa, you didn't have to speak English really there?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, but
not too much.
Not too much. I mean, I didn't learn anything in the English classes because like it's a provincial program. So for us, I was watching the Flintstones and every day, and so yeah, my English was very basic. I could understand, but I could not really express myself that much. So I moved to Montreal '93, and became I started working with Dieu du Ciel on April 29, 2001. So when I came back from Australia, I told them I'm going to work for you. I was writing them letters, from Australia. I didn't have
email.
I didn't have email at that time, and I kept in touch with them, and I came back and they hired me, and I started as a waiter. A few months later, GF was not ready to allow anybody in his brewery, and slowly, we got along very well. So I started to do like CIPs and stuff, like just like patching the holes, and yeah.
Taxi.
You would have heard that in Australia.
Yeah.
Do you remember that in Australia? If someone drops a glass at like a bar, you yell at taxi.
No, I forgot about that.
Sorry. I don't know. I mean,
We did it a few times last night at the Liquid Arts Festival.
Okay.
Three drops, yeah.
No one does that here. We need to catch on. Sorry, continue.
No worries. I mean, I don't want to spend too long on a question, but anyways,
Hey,
that's
your podcast, bro.
Yeah. So I made my way up there, start brewing, and when it really started happening for me, it's when Production Brewery opened in Saint-Jérôme. So I start to take care of the brew pub. So for me, I've always been brew pub guy. Yeah. So I was, I ended up starting to make recipes and stuff, and testing any ingredients or new yeast that we want to try, and so we didn't want to do it on the 25X in Saint-Jérôme. I was propagating all the yeast for both breweries too, and it lasted till 2012 when I, sadly left. I left because I had Japan in mind since 2003, and so if I don't do this, I'm gonna be mad at myself all my life. So I had to leave and live a dream of opening a brewery in Japan, which I did. With a lot of struggles, and I opened in 2014. But by the time I opened, I was already decided to come back here.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what was that brewery called?
Ushi Tora. It's still operating. Yeah. Doing very well.
Or you?
No. Yeah. I was one third. And I sold it and back here and opened Godspeed.
Nice. What did you learn from? Like the Japanese side, I mean, that must be intense going to another country with completely different.
Is there a craft beer scene over there, or?
Yeah, there is. There is a big boom in the 90s, mid 90s. After that, it kind of dropped, and now it's reviving. Like this year, there's about 100 new breweries in Japan.
That's sick.
Yeah,
are they making beers similar to the beers that you're making here?
No. They're really, they like what the Americans are doing now. So now they're trying to make New England IPAs. They're not very successful.
Like everyone else, right?
Sorry if they listen to this in Japan. But yeah,
they'll get there.
Yeah, it's funny. I made the first sour beer in Japan, in 2014. So they're way behind.
Right.
It's I think it's sad that they're trying to replicate what we do here because they have so many beautiful ingredients, and a few breweries do some beers. They get the yeast from the cherry blossom and they ferment with that, and gives a very unique taste. They could do a lot of very unique stuff, but they don't. I don't know why they don't.
I feel
do
like
it.
the Japanese is people, if they keep trying, they get it right and end up doing it better than everyone else. So just give them some time, maybe, and I think they'll catch up. And
it's interesting because I always thought that, you know, for anything, I saw the best bossa nova bands, you know, in Japan, and
it's crazy.
But for some reason with the beer, they're not there yet. I mean, it's getting interesting, but not quite yet.
So you've obviously have a love for Japan, the culture, the country.
Yeah.
And it's obviously had an influence on your brewing. I feel like the Godspeed has that kind of, you know, crisp, clean, easy drinking, well-made beer. Did you take a lot of inspiration from the culture? And bring it here?
Yeah, I think so. You know, like it's funny because the Japanese they say that probably in another life I was Japanese because I have they say I have a Japanese
aura?
art. Yeah, but you know I always been like very you know, simple and minimalist and you know Godspeed is all about that. It's about, you know, I say to everybody there's two key words: it's refined simplicity. So but I was already simple, but the Japanese kind of refined what I had in me. So, you know, I came back here and that's what I do, you know, and you see my space and my beer, and that's what it is.
We actually spoke about this drunkenly last week at Dieu du Ciel. What are some of the beers, because this is what I was trying to understand. I feel like when Godspeed was coming up, as it was being, you know, you're putting it together in the work, thank you. There was a lot of hype about it, and because you were the guy from Dieu du Ciel that was coming in. What were some of the beers that you sort of had a hand in creating for Dieu du Ciel?
Gonna ask that.
Great much.
You know, a few. You know, like I think I was saying. You know, I'm trying to say exactly what I said. It was what 4 a.m. when we were talking about that.
And we cracked that 9.5% lager stout.
You know, like most, I would say all the popular beers that, you know, hang around from Dieu du Ciel. It's not my recipes. It's mostly JF. You know, like Péché. Péché is. You know, we first brewed it in 2001, and you know, I was like barely at Dieu du Ciel yet. You know, I was arriving there. So, one that I made that it's they kept it in the momentum is Iseki Nicho. It's like the girl Dark Saison. So that was our first collaboration. And JF didn't want to do collaboration. I pushed him, and so it was a collaboration with Shigakogen, a good friend from Japan, from Shigakogen Brewery. So that's one of them. And apart from that, you know, like all the beers, I mean, we've worked. Well, like I was saying, you know, it's like I'm trying to say to my staff here too, you know, like writing a recipe takes me 10 minutes, you know. It takes 10 minutes to write a recipe, but it's the whole work, you know, behind it that makes what a beer
what it is.
What it is, right? So, and me and JF, we're working a lot, you know, together. You know, he didn't have time to create new things, and after a while, he was a ping pong ball between the two breweries. So, you know, he gave me a lot of freedom, and so, you know, there's a lot of recipes that we tweaked together throughout the years. But, you know, for recipe wise, I mean, the credit doesn't go to me.
Right.
But like, people at one point, it was getting problematic at DDC because people would say, okay, what did you make and what did Z made? And because we're the two guys, you know, doing this, and we start to say, you know, this is a teamwork.
Right.
You know, it's a teamwork. It's not about who makes what.
Right.
So, you know, JF's the owner. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, he should get the credit.
Right.
But for me, in the future, I'm not gonna, you know, now I brew all my beers, but I'm not gonna take the credit just for myself, you know, because I have so people working hard here to you know, for this beer to happen. So,
a bit more about the beer. We have I guess a bunch here. These are your 3 flagship beers?
Yeah, the 3 flagship. You know, it's interesting because if I look at my business plan, you know, and if people were asking me at the beginning, what are you going to brew? What is going to be your flagship? And I said, I don't know. And
I guess it kind of works itself out, right?
Yeah, I just go with the flow, and still now, I mean, these 3 beers I have to brew them all the time now, because I sell almost like 5,000 liters of it per month. You know, it's crazy for a brew pub. I have a few licensees too, but yeah. So yeah, I wanted to make it a tea beer, obviously, because I kind of adopted the tea field in Japan.
We should definitely talk about that too.
Yeah, and you know, I was making a beer. So when I left Dieu du Ciel, I asked the guys for one thing, you know, to all my Japanese line of beer that I was making at Dieu du Ciel, I asked them to get back the names,
right?
Because I want to use them here. But I say keep the recipe. I don't care about the recipe. So I was making a Ochame beer in at Dieu du Ciel, but it was kind of more like a alt style with green tea.
Okay.
So now I revisited it. I do a green tea IPA, but it's the exact same tea.
Here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
this is your tea from your adopted tea farm in Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
In an IPA.
Yeah,
Super cool.
Just came back from Japan. So I will go every year and end of May. Harvest. I can harvest about 100 kilos of dry tea. So it's about 500 to 600 kilos of wet leaves that we process. They're dry.
I've always wondered, is it like, do you make the tea and then brew the beer with the tea, or are the tea leaves added like after in the bright tank?
What do you think?
I would say after. It would only make sense for me after, but because I think it would get too much of a kind of tartness or
like
tannic.
tannins.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to avoid the tannins. I want a tiny bit of it, but not too much, right? And when I work with an ingredient, I mean, I use ingredients, you know, almost like the same way. So I like to build layers of flavors. So, you know, I use it on the cold side. I use it in the hot side too. Cool. And I infuse it at the exact temperature that I want, that I feel. So, you know, people will like more bitter tannic tea. So that, you know, you infuse at almost 100. But for me, I drop the temperature where I want it to be, where I'm satisfied. So yeah, so after Whirlpool, I do different ways. Actually, it's a very complex beer when I think about it.
It's pretty intense.
It's probably my most complex beer that I make, you know, because it's just for the tea infusions and stuff, and the way that I cook everything. It's pretty cool.
I've had other green tea beers before, and I'm always like, well, I don't taste the green tea. It's not there, but this one, it's there. It's nice. It has that kind of earthy flavor, and I think it lends itself well. You wouldn't think so, but it lends itself well to an IPA style.
That's what people think. You know, a lot of people are scared. You know, it's like, oh, green tea IPA, and they try it, and everybody gets hooked. You know, it's very. I never thought it would be that popular, but you know, I'll take it.
Yeah, why not?
Right. After that, the Yuzu. It's funny. I'm stuck with that beer now. I wanted to be like a seasonal, and because my goal is to make a rotation of Japanese citrus saisons, because you know Japan has so many citrus to offer. So I started with the Dai, and after that the Yuzu, and I wanted to jump straight into the Sudachi.
Oh, okay.
But now everybody wants the Yuzu.
They like
so I'm stuck with it.
fruit.
But now I just released the Sudachi on tap. Now it's very different. It's beautiful.
C's been dying to try that. I know he's been eyeing it the whole time.
The Yuzu, so I had from Hitachino Nested one, and it was like, what is this flavor? I never had
so good.
Yeah, Yuzu is beautiful. It's like it's an aromatic bomb, you know, and it's great. So this is basically it's my mimosa. You know, it's like the patio beer is very light.
Brunch beer.
It's crushable. You know, it's not a lot of not a lot of body in there. It's just nice, easy drinking, 4.1%.
Right.
And the Otsukaresama, which we're drinking now,
which is this bad boy.
And if you look at my branding there, so the
beautiful.
Yeah, so my flagship. So everything that's going to be like a flagship.
Full wrap.
Yeah, so the full wrap, and you see the different designs there. So this is all
like patterns.
It's all designs that I made actually.
Oh,
so
nice.
it's like a tie-dyed indigo pattern. It's called like a shibori in Japanese. So, so this is like pieces of cotton like this, and we took pictures, and my graphic designer put it on the can, and we changed the color. You know, obviously we made it green for the green tea. We made it yellow for the yuzu, but the actual color is indigo, like this. That's so crazy. I thought, you know, I always want to do that. That was kind of a little thing that I that I want to do. So, and it's different
Very
at the
cool,
same
man.
time.
That's kind of a good segue. I'll let you have a sip for a second because we're nearly finished. You've been talking too much.
I'm sorry, guys.
No. This is how we want you to talk a lot.
This is the point. That's kind of why we
get
this.
to drink and watch.
Well, you can cut, right?
It's a show for us.
The video will be cut. The audio is straight.
Yeah,
okay.
straight.
Audio's
Okay.
raw. This will be cut. But,
Okay, cool.
It's all part of the fun. So I want to segue just to step back a little bit. So you moved back from Japan with every intention of starting a brewery.
Yeah.
You went to the hotel, got your condo, started working at Bar Hub. Talk us through how long that sort of took to get from there to where we are now, where the idea came from for Godspeed, where the name came from.
Okay, cool.
All of that.
Sure. So, well, let's go back to Japan. So, like I said, I opened my brewery, and I made a contract with my partners. We signed it. Okay. I'm gonna leave in December. I'm gonna open this brewery. I'm gonna train your staff and everything, and I'm out at the end of December. And you guys, you have a year to find the money to pay me back, and that's how it happened. So in that summer there, that my last summer in Japan, I started to come to Toronto. I think I came 4 times to Toronto, so I already starting to look for spaces. Because at the beginning I was supposed to open. People ask me why Toronto. First of all, when I move on, I move on. I don't go back on my steps, and I would have find it really ridiculous to go open a brewery in Montreal. Where I worked for my friends there for 12 years, and I thought Toronto. So that's about 4 or 5 years ago when I decided I was coming back, and Toronto had nothing to offer. I mean, Bellwoods were little babies still, and I say, why, one of the biggest city in North America, the 4th or 5th biggest city in North America, has nothing to offer. So I decided I'm going to come to Toronto, but there's these guys called Moranas that own Barvolo. Ralph, he was after 27 years at his spot. Like they were destroying it. So he was losing his space. So we were supposed to open this together. So that was the goal. And me and Ralph were going to open this. I came back. I lost pretty much all my money in Japan. I got a little bit back, but it's not enough to invest. So I told Morana, I say, you get the money in, and I build this thing. And so, anyways, with me and Ralph was still the best friends, but it just didn't happen. And I just took the lead, so 2 years prior I opened. Business plan, market research. I visited about 75 spaces before I found this one.
Jeez.
I was looking for a minimum 5,000 square feet space. This is 8,000. And I wanted like a open space with nothing in it, high ceilings, so I can build whatever I want the way I want. So it took a long time, decent rent price, because we know that Toronto is getting freaking expensive, and with good landlords, because there's no way that I'm going to give my money for 15, 20, 25 years to someone that I don't like. So I found it. Finally, it took a long time. 8 months of lease negotiations.
Jeez, 8 months.
Because there's nothing in here. Okay, so
you're saying it was a dollar store?
But they put everything down, and we found out they buried everything under. They put a concrete, and we have to crush all the concrete, and you don't want to know what we found
under there.
It was insane. It was not cool. So we basically they accept to split the leasehold improvements. So they did 50-50. So they've been supporting me big time.
That's great.
Anyways, that's financing. That's the other one, right? So it took a while. Went to see a few banks, and all my partners, investors are from Quebec. So I'm a one-man band here. It's kind of nice that they have confidence in me, trust in me. So they just got the money, and we finally got a bank that approved us. So when we started the construction in December 2016, and I opened the door in July 2017. Nice. So it was pretty fast actually for construction, because there's a lot to do. So I was I was the general contractor. I designed everything, even designed my brew house.
Nice.
With, so I got my pro model there behind. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fun. You know, I want to use the heights because you know, at Dieu du Ciel, I don't know if you've been in that basement there at the brew pub, but
It's pretty tight.
I banged my head many times. I said I don't want to do this anymore, so I just use the heights so I can have easy access in the, you know, under to do maintenance and stuff. And so what else? The name. All right, the name. Godspeed.
No, throw that at you.
And the logo too. I've always been interested with the logo.
Yeah, the logo is kind of boring story, but
I like it.
yeah. So the name, yeah, we need a beer, right? You need a beer.
We can pause for a
We
moment.
just grab one of these if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. Go for it.
Which one do you want to do?
I know C wants that.
I want the Yuzu.
I want some smoked.
You want smoke?
the
Maybe the
smoke
smoke.
guy, right?
Maybe the smoke bills.
Yeah, give me that.
That's great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, take whatever you guys want. Oh, yeah. Yuzu. Sorry.
Yeah. It's Yuzu.
Like save some to somebody else who wants something as well.
Okay, so the name, you know, it took me probably 3 years to find the name. You know, at the beginning I wanted to have a Japanese name. After that, so it'd be nice to have a French name too, you know. And I end up being an English name.
Yeah.
And you know, in the craft beer industry these days, if you decide on any English names, they're pretty much all taken.
Right.
Yeah, it's out of control.
So, you know, I had a list of a bunch of stuff, and Godspeed was the reason I went for Godspeed is it was not taken, so I just jump on the trademark.
Yeah.
But the real reason behind it is, you know, is just a little bit of a kind of like a tribute to Dieu du Ciel, basically. You know, it's you know, the whole French expression Dieu du Ciel, and we don't really use anymore. But,
Right.
And I thought, and you know, Godspeed, English, old expression that we still use quite a bit.
Right.
And the both expression have the word God in it, but they're not really related to religion.
Right.
So I thought it was a nice, you know, continuity
Transition.
transition.
Yeah.
After that, you know, obviously everybody thinks it's a band. And Godspeed You Black Emperor. And it's funny because I used to follow them in the 90s because my roommate, best friend, was a cello player for Godspeed. So I started following them when they're really underground. They're still underground, but and the thing that I found out after that is they got their name from a Japanese movie from the a B movie from the 70s.
So many tie-ins, yeah.
So you know, and the other reason, and last is, you know, everybody was, you know, saying, "Oh, Luke's gonna open a brewery. It's gonna be crazy. You know, it's gonna be like and for me, it's just like opening a brewery in 2017. You know, it's like it's a pretty scary thing.
is,
you know, so I don't take anything for granted,
tough
and
competition out
I
there.
cross my finger. I tell myself Godspeed, you know, every day. So so that's all the reason, but mainly, you know, to pay tribute to my you know, where it all started for me as a brewer. You know, like Dieu du Ciel. You know, I feel I owe a lot to these guys, you know. So
I love it, brother. I think we're pretty much nailed that.
Cool.
Thank you so much for your time, man. Really
thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much.
Genuine
Seriously,
pleasure.
yeah.
Thanks.
Great chat, man.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
It's an
having
honor.
us.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Likewise,
much.
bro.
Cheers. Thank you.
Where can they? We're not finished. We have to wrap it up. Where can they find you online?
Wow. Okay. Well, the website's been a splash page since beginning. You know, I'm not very big on social media. I'm the one doing everything.
Doing it right.
But website's under construction, so you know, GodspeedBrewery.com.
Okay.
Instagram, Godspeed Beer, and Facebook, Godspeed Brewery.
Yep.
I ditched Twitter. I don't use that anymore.
Okay. That's good to have it just in case.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so
I'll tell you later. We are the social media agency. This is like our life.
Okay. All right.
Twitter's good.
Okay, so that's
Coming back.
that's where you can find me for now, and obviously 242 Coxwell Avenue in Toronto.
Come down, see the
Down,
brew
it's
pub,
a beautiful brew
eat
pub.
the food,
Awesome beer.
get some beers to go, drink it. It's perfect. You're a legend, bro.
Cheers.
Guys,
Thank
if you
you so
enjoyed
much.
the episode,
you.
smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast, and check out the long form audio so you can hear very attractive people like Luke right here talk about very cool things like beer. Apple Podcast, Google Play, wherever you get it. That is it, y'all. Thanks again. Get it in ya.
Get it in
Cheers.
ya. Peace.